Hello everyone, so in this video let us talk about a very important keyword that is used a lot of places, and the keyword is defer. So what is defer and why it is used? So let us talk about all of that. So defer is a keyword in which it is used in front of different statements. We'll talk about that, how we can use that. But a defer statement defers the execution of a function until the surrounding function returns. So wherever you put defer, that particular statement is hold, or put, you can say, just put it inside a stack, a calling stack, and it is hold till the complete function in which that particular statement is written, or defer statement or keyword is used, till the complete function call returns. Then until that point the defer will not call. When it returns, then only the defer statement will call. It is generally used to clean the space before the function call returns. So maybe you want to close a connection, or maybe you want to clean all the variables or anything that you have created throughout this function call, and before the function call stop, you have to like clear out that space. In that scenario, defer is used in many of the cases. Yeah, you can also disconnect the connection of the DB. We'll talk about that in some later videos in this whole course, so stay tuned. Maybe we want to close the connection with the DB. Okay, we are doing some transactions and we want to close the transaction. Before closing that function, we can use defer. And we want to before the main program stops also, you can, if you have to do some things, or you want to close a channel, or you want to catch a panic, all of those scenarios in which defers are generally used. So let us see how we can directly use that. Let's say that we directly just use fmt.println, and we just do println, this is my first defer. uh, Defer. Now if we just print it out, it will just do fmt.println if we just print out this particular string on the console, which is fine. But if I just do defer, and what you can do is that if I then put fmt.println, this is hello world, then the order of execution will be like from top to bottom, from main function. So it will start going from here. It will see this println, but it is a defer, so it will, you can see that it will put you inside a calling stack. Okay, this statement, and it will not be called. Then it will call this. It will go on and all until the function, which is this main function, stops. It will return, and then when it stops, then only it will call the statement. So if you just return this, or like call this program, so go run, it is 7. You can see that the first line that is printed is hello world, and then this is printed, even though this is in the first order. Okay, that's what you have to understand what defer is. Now let us take this one more step ahead. The thing is that, let's say I'll do fmt.println of a function. Let's say the function name is sum, and we pass in 5 to it. Now what this function does, it, let's create a function func, and let name it sum. It will take an integer x. It will return, let's say an integer itself, or maybe do we want it to return something? Okay, it will return an integer. And what it actually do is that it will just take a variable and do a for loop. Let's say from I equal to 0, I less than x, I plus plus, and sum plus equal to I. Okay, and we'll just return this particular sum. Pretty simple function. Now what I actually want is that, what you can see is that, let's do one defer here. That, let's do fmt.println, and we call that sum is calculated, and that's it. I think so, that is fine. And I'll also do this here, that for loop stopped. Now what you can understand from here is that, let's say that I start calculating out something in this book, like in this function, and we do some operations, and then we print out like for loop stop after this for loop stop. But before like exiting out, like when it is completely done, I think like this return is like when this return point is hit, before exiting out this complete function, it will tell that okay, the function is like the sum is calculated. So this is the thing that is just called, if I just like put a defer here, before this particular function call is returned. Okay, then like before this complete function call is stop, then before that, just before that, defer functions are called in a certain order. We'll also talk about orders also, but yeah. So let us run this as well and then see what is the output of this and understand from here. Now we'll see that we'll first go inside this main function. This is put inside a defer, so this is not called. Then we just print out hello world. Hello world is printed. Then we go inside this sum and we go inside this. Now there's again some defer, so we will not print it out. It will just calculate the sum and it will print for loop stopped. Now when the for loop stopped is done, then it will return the sum. But before returning out, it will just do all the statement that I need defer for this particular function, because I have told you defer is called when the scope of the function in which it is called is finished. So it is completed this particular function, not this function. This function is completed. That's why only this defer is called, not this defer. So this is called, it just printed out the sum is calculated and this function stopped. Then it goes back inside here. It printed out the value that is here, that is 10. So that's why you understand that it is not just returned, okay, before returning. It's not that the value is returned. If the value is returned, it have printed 10 before. But what you can understand is that the print is not printed. This function, before it closes, okay, before it return the value, it will then do all the defer statements. So all the defers are done, sum is calculated, it returned to the main function again, return the sum that is 10, and then it has nothing to do. So then it will, before returning, it will call these defers in this main function. It will call this is my first defer, and that is how it closes up. I hope you understand how this is all working. Now defer calls are pushed into a stack, which a stack is a data structure which is first in first out, or sorry, last in first out. And when a function return, it deferred calls are executed in the first in last in first out manner. Now what it actually means, like what this actually means, let us take a small example for understanding all of this. Let's do a for loop. Okay, let's do a for loop. So for loop I equal to 0, I equal to 0, I less than, let's say I just do a for loop till 5 and I plus plus, and we just do fmt.println these I value. Okay, if I just print out these values, can you tell me what is the output? It's very simple. We'll go here, okay, we print out these values 10, and then these are all printed out, and then we'll create out this defer value, which is fine. And this is printed in 0, 1, 2, 3 because it is doing a for loop in this order. But if I put defer in front of it, what it actually means is that yeah, okay, don't worry. What it actually means is like what I'm trying to do here, like what you can see, what is this doing? Can you print out the answer for this? The thing is that it is pushing all of these values inside a stack. Okay, so what it actually does is that, let's assume that there is a stack here. Okay, a stack is a simple data structure. Then what will happen is that it will first print 1, or like sorry 0, push it inside a stack, 2, push it inside a stack, 3, 4, till 4 it pushes it inside the stack. Then it will do nothing. It will come out to the end of this program, and before ending, it will now pop out the elements from the top of the stack in the same manner it has pushed. So the first element that is popped will be 4. So now the elements will be printed in the reverse order. Let's do that. But you can see that after 10, all the numbers that are, so the first value that is pushed inside the stack is this, which like that is the last value inside the stack. Okay. If I can somehow show you how it actually also look like, let us try to draw it out also. If I can bring it down here, I can somehow bring it here, just a second. Yep. What you can understand is that, let's say what is a stack is a data structure like this. Now you push these statements inside the stack. Now the first one is just printing out the first value, which is this is my first defer. So this is like say print 1. Then it goes down and then it hit this statement. It then defers this print line, which is like initially the first print line is 0. So it pushes in the stack 0, then it pushes 1, then pushes 2, and so on till 4. Okay, so the top one is 4, and the stack looks like this. Then the program terminates, it pops out these defer statements one by one from the top. So the first one that is popped is 4, next one that is popped is 3, then 2, then 1, then 0, and then the print statement. That's the order in which they are printed. Okay, that's the thing, that how these statements are printed out. And yeah, that's the thing. There's just one more thing about defers before we close out this whole thing, that it remembers the passed parameter to the deferred function, and that is saved immediately without waiting for the defer function to run again. What I mean by this is that if I defer a particular thing, let's take a small example and you'll understand all of that. So what I've done is that I've created a variable that is name, and the name is code explainer. Then I defer the name, okay, and whatever, so I defer the print line of this code explainer. Then later in this program, I've changed this value to new code explainer and just print it out there. Now can you tell me what is the output for this, just for this part of code? What the thing is that if I just remove everything out, if I just remove everything just for a second, okay, just remove something out. What you can see is that this program starts running, okay. It will first say that, okay, my name is code explainer, but it will not print it. It will defer the println, it will put it inside the stack. But whatever name is there at that particular point, it will take that particular value. It will not recalculate it again with the current value. It will take that particular copy and put it inside that stack. It will then go throughout this code. It will change the particular value of this variable to new code explainer. And then because it decided now this is just a simple println, it will not change it. It will just print out new code explainer. But before closing out, it will then print code explainer, which was the original one. Okay, if I just run this out, you can see that it has first printed new code explainer, that is this, but when it has the time to run this particular statement that was deferred, it has used the original code explainer value, not the new one, because it is changed. It has not used the new one. So which means that these values are not calculated on the go. Okay, these values are those that are initialized actually, like before, like when these defer statements were called, whatever values were there at that particular state are used in the end. These values are calculated beforehand, taken, what is this, like a screenshot, a snapshot is taken. Okay, whatever values you have passed or calculated at that particular point are taken, and then the new values are not taken when the final defer statement is called. So that's it. That's the overall thing that you need to understand for defer. Whenever in the later course we will use defer, I'll tell you where we can. We have different use cases also, but this is how the basic understanding of what defer is used for and how it actually works. So thank you for watching this video till the end. I will see you in the next one. Keep coding and bye.